Silence hides the truth, but in the dark, it speaks. You're listening to whispers in the dark. I couldn't breathe. The elevator wasn't moving, yet the numbers above the door flickered as if cycling through impossible floors. 13, 21, 44, then blank. Just a strip of dying light. The hum of the machinery vibrated through the metal walls, but it sounded wrong, like something was grinding bone instead of gears. My reflection in the brushed steel panel blurred, as though the surface didn't want to hold me. Beside me, the old woman didn't move. Her hand still rested on the button she'd pressed. A button that shouldn't exist. The panel was unmarked there, just smooth plastic. Yet I saw it depressed beneath her crooked finger, heard the click. Now it glowed faintly, a floor I'd never seen before. A floor that wasn't real. She whispered something, barely audible. My name. The silence swelled, thick and suffocating. I watched the panel, waiting for it to right itself, for the numbers to fall back into order. They didn't. My chest tightened. Maybe I'd misread it. Maybe it was fatigue, stress. I rubbed my eyes. When I looked again, the glow remained. A floor that didn't exist. The old woman's shoulders trembled, but not with weakness, with amusement. I could feel it, the way one feels a draft in a sealed room. I wanted to speak, ask her what floor she'd chosen, but my throat closed. A drip of sweat slid along my spine. She turned, slowly, her face catching the fluorescent light. Her eyes weren't cloudy with age. They were sharp, too sharp, watching me, testing me. I forced myself to glance at the door. Just a ride down, and I'd step out. Forget this. But the numbers above us froze. Not on one, not on two, on nothing. A blank bar of light. The hum deepened. I gripped the railing. Something was waiting. The mirrors warped. Not reflections anymore, but windows. I saw movement within them, shadows pacing, shifting. Figures pressed against the surface, their mouths opening and closing in silence. I pulled back, heart pounding. The woman's reflection was wrong. Her body stood beside me, still, but her reflection leaned close to mine, lips to my ear. No sound. Just the shape of my name forming again and again. I stumbled forward, nearly colliding with the door. The air grew thin, metallic. I pressed the emergency button. It lit up, but nothing happened. No alarm, no stop. Just that steady hum, sinking lower, lower, as if we weren't moving through floors but through something deeper. Then came the voices. Not loud, whisper thin, multiplying, layering. A chorus of regrets, apologies, screams cut off mid-breath. They rose from the mirrors, from the hum of the machine, from the space inside my skull. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I ripped it out. One notification. A voicemail. Timestamp 10 minutes ahead of now. The preview read, "Don't let her out." My hands shook. The old woman smiled. Finally spoke. "You see it now." Her voice was younger than it should have been. Not frail. Steady. almost familiar. The weight of recognition stirred in my chest, but I pushed it away. I shouted, voice breaking in the small box of metal. "What floor is this?" Her eyes flicked to the glowing button, then back to me. Home. The elevator lurched. My stomach dropped, but the floor didn't move. The mirrors rippled like water. The figures pressed harder, faces smearing against the glass. My reflection screamed though I hadn't opened my mouth. And then I knew. I had seen this woman before. In old photographs. Family photographs. A face in the corner, never acknowledged, never explained. My father's mother, dead before I was born. Her hand slid from the panel. The glow dimmed. The elevator groaned to a stop. The doors opened. Not to a hallway. Not to the lobby. To a corridor of concrete stretching into darkness, lined with doors that didn't have handles. Each door bore a number, carved deep, bleeding rust. Numbers that didn't exist in this building. The woman stepped out, hunched, her cane clicking against the cement. She didn't look back, but her reflection lingered in the elevator, still beside me, grinning. I couldn't move. My body betrayed me. I watched her disappear into the corridor. One door creaked open by itself. A figure stepped out, another version of her, younger, sharper, eyes like mine. Then another, and another. They stared directly at me. The doors began to close. Relief surged. Then terror because the reflection hadn't left. She stood inside with me, her hand cold on my wrist. "You'll follow," she said. The elevator dropped. No numbers. No sound. Just the rush of air and the sensation of falling into endless black. When the doors opened again, I was still inside. Alone. The panel blank. No buttons. No exit. The mirrors showed only the corridor now, endless, waiting. And in every reflection, I wasn't standing here. I was already walking down that hall. The hum returned, low, steady, like breath, like a voice. I understood the voicemail now. Too late. The last line etched itself into my skull, as if she whispered it from inside my bones. You were never